Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Coviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how are you this week?
You know, I'm feeling a little competitive this week.
Oh, danger if you get competitive on us here. It's a sport that is open to one and all. We are talking about something that has been installed in downtown Disney in California and in Disney Springs in Orlando. We are talking about Splittsville, and it's a concept that I think is really, really unique. I know you have a lot to say about it, so let's break it down.
You bet. Now, as you said, it is a bowling alley. In my family, that definitely means competitive. It is probably the extent of sports that I can easily participate in, not always coming out on top, but I can participate.
Sure.
Splittsville is a chain. There are actually 4 of them in the United States. So besides Disney Springs and downtown Disney, there's one in Tampa and Foxborough, Massachusetts. So go figure that one.
A little bit different weather in Foxborough.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is something like you've never seen at your local bowling alley. So it is 50,000 square feet. They use the same kind of design model for all of them. And in preparation for the show, I did a little bit of research trying to understand what is 50,000 square feet, because I just have zero idea.
Yeah, frame of reference, sure.
And how does it compare to other bowling alleys?
Right.
So most bowling alleys are just under 1,000 square feet per lane. This alley has 26 lanes, which would make it 26,000, just shy of that normally. But these are 2-story venues. They have bowling, but then they have billiards out in California. They also have shuffleboard. They've got bars, live entertainment, and a restaurant. So that explains your 50,000 square feet. When I looked it up, it was like 50,000 square feet is the footprint of a small Home Depot.
Wow. That's aggressive. That's an aggressive amount of space for a bowling alley. But I do think that these things were built kind of in the same time frame where you started to see these indoor adult arcade, entertainment type of venues, like a Dave and Buster's, so to speak, was becoming very popular. So similar idea in the sense that you've got bowling and you've got some billiards and, bars and things like that to kind of tie a crowd together that doesn't want to just go out and sit at the bar or go listen to just music. They want something else to be going on. So that's kind of where I think Splitsville comes into play.
And it's really done well. I mean, we've talked about some of the changes that we've seen at Disney Springs. We've watched certain things come and go, like Disney Quest, the NBA experience. But this has been here since 2012. So it's really kind of held its place. We've also talked about, in some ways, that when they did the big makeover from downtown Disney to Disney Springs, now remember, we did just say this is on both coasts.
Right.
So not to confuse people, but in Florida, it is Disney Springs. In California, it is still downtown Disney. But when they did the makeover in Florida to create Disney Springs, that's when the idea of, we don't want just our visitors to Disney to be here. We want to be a location for locals.
Right.
And that's why you can actually find Splitsville right next to the AMC Dine-In Theater. Again, something we're not assuming that everybody, flies to Florida to go on vacation and runs to the movie theater or to the bowling alley.
Right.
But it is between AMC and, of course, the ever-popular M&M's store. In downtown Disney, after you've had your awesome hamburger and your colossal milkshake at Black House, you can head into Splitsville.
All right.
The bowling is done very differently than any place I've ever gone. Typically when we go bowling, you pay per game and per player on the lane.
Yeah, I think that's pretty standard.
Here you pay per hour, which for those of us who are a little competitive can be a little frustrating. There's not a lot of flexibility in there per hour. It's not like, oh, we're in the 8th frame, we need an extra 10 minutes.
You're done.
Generally, they can't accommodate that.
Yeah,
Your
you're done.
hour's up, your time is done. So what it means is if you tend to be talkers and, dawdle and not, bowl, you might not get a whole game in. You might get a game and a half in. The time that you are allocated for the lane is based on the number of bowlers you are. Okay. So 1 to 2 bowlers, you get an hour. And for every 1 to 2 extra people you add, you can add 15 minutes. So 3 to 4 is an hour and 15, 5 to 6 bowlers, an hour and a half, 7 to 8, an hour and 3/4.
And this is
the
per
maximum on a lane.
I was gonna say this is per lane, right? So you're talking
per lane.
Yeah, I mean eight bowlers on one lane. You need an hour and 45. That could take that long easily. Yeah.
But then, because we have gone like to summer bowling and things where you can just rent for an hour,
right,
and you pay for the lane for an hour, and they don't care how many people bowl.
Correct.
Here, because they adjust the time, you do pay per bowler. So here's where it's going to get complicated.
Thank you, because I was waiting for the explanation.
So if bowling is the highlight of your day and you want to be guaranteed a bowling lane without a large wait, you reserve your lane online and you're going to pay $10 extra per person for reserving it online.
Okay.
If you don't reserve it online, I can tell you if you go early in the day, they typically have an hour to an hour and a half wait. And if you go late enough in the day, they will tell you there are no lanes available.
Huh.
So, for instance, before our show, I hopped on, I looked at tomorrow, not a time to be reserved. I looked at the next day, very few times to be reserved. So, again, if this is the be-all and end-all, you're going to have to do the reservation online that has the extra $10 per person.
So it becomes another piece of the vacation that it should be worked into what you're doing. It's not just a drop-in type of adventure. It's something that you're planning for.
Again, it's a little tough if you're 4 people, you're going to spend an extra $40 to have it online, to do that online reservation, but then you're going to get to do it. So, you just have to kind of put that thought aside. So I'm going to give you the online pricing.
Okay, good.
And if you bowl from opening, which is 10:30 or 11, depending on the day of the week, it's going to be $31 a person from that 10:30 in the morning to the 3:45 time slot.
Okay.
4 p.m. to close, which is between 11 and 12, depending on the day and the location, is $36 per person.
Okay.
And all day Saturday and Sunday is $37 a person.
Got it. And obviously that doesn't get adjusted. You're not going per hour if you're 7 or 8. Like that 37
gives you the $37 for 7 or 8 people.
Correct.
Gives you an hour and 3/4.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay.
So you can order food to your lane. I like to not order food to my lane because I want people to get up and bowl. Right. I don't want somebody wasting our time. But personal choice. Again, I'm all about maximizing my time.
But they do have a full menu, right?
Say that again?
I said, but they do have a full menu.
They do have a full menu. We'll talk about the menu in a minute because, like I said, I'm going to head downstairs to eat.
Got it.
They do also, because they are not just bowling, they are an entertainment venue. So you've all probably done, bowling in the dark and things like that.
Yeah.
They do have live music nightly. Again, depending on the day of the week, either 5 to 9 or 6 to 10 at night. And most days during the week, they also have live music from 1 to 5. So, it's a real experience. It's not just come and bowl. I will also say that rate that I give you includes your shoes. So makes it a little bit better. There are not discounts available. I know that's usually a quick ask in my, pass holders and DVC members.
Yeah.
It's going to be full price, unfortunately. They also have billiards in Florida. I have yet to figure out the difference between billiards and pool. Do you know, Jeff?
No, not particularly, to be honest with you.
Maybe it's like the difference between a balcony and a veranda on a cruise.
It could be.
I think they're just interchangeable words.
It could be.
$16 an hour. Again, we're back at that hourly for billiards in Florida, and $18 an hour for billiards or shuffleboard. I hear that cruise ship calling if you want to play shuffleboard.
There you go.
Out in California. The billiards and shuffleboard are walk-in only, no reservations. And she was quick to tell me how extremely popular they are, that if you're not there within an hour or two after opening, that you should count on putting your name on a list and getting a text and coming back an hour to two later. So I really encourage people, if you want to do the billiards or you wanted to do the bowling, but you didn't want to commit to the day or the time or the extra money, you're going to want to head to Splittsville when you get to downtown Disney or Disney Springs. And, get yourself on the list. You don't want to walk around and do all your shopping and do everything and then head there and be told, okay, come back in an hour and a half.
Right.
So that's definitely the way to look at that.
So you had talked about going downstairs to eat, right? So let's obviously avoiding eating at the lanes because you've got a limited amount of time is somewhat logical. So if you are planning to eat and to bowl or to engage in some billiards or shuffleboard, what do you mean by we'll go downstairs and eat?
So Splitsville is designed as a two-story thing. You're going to enter downstairs. That's where you'll find a lot of the booths. There's also a gift shop. Shocking. That's where you're going to check in. And then upstairs, there's a big bar. There's the lanes. It is accessible by elevator, so everybody is welcome to come and play. I should also note, when we talked about the hourly cost, if you have grandma or a very young child not playing, you are welcome to have somebody else come and sit at your lane as long as you're under 8, so that there's space for them and you don't pay for the non-bowler.
Got it. Okay.
So that makes it nice as well.
Sure.
But it is food time. And again, some people are going to opt for food in their lane. Maybe you just want to do appetizers. They've got everything from Kona fries, loaded French fries, little sliders, buffalo chicken egg rolls, pot stickers, nachos. You get those traditional kind of appetizers.
Right.
Then they do have pizzas. There's so many pizza places in Disney Springs. I'm not sure I'd head there for pizza.
But it's there.
But it's there.
Yeah.
Sushi, obviously a very popular option, especially West Coast. Our California people love their California rolls and all their sushi.
Sure.
If you think you're trying to be good after all the junk food you've eaten, they've got a choice of 4 different salads that are large enough and most have proteins with them to be a regular meal, a full-size meal.
Salads. Weirdos. But go ahead.
Silly people. Then the portion of their menu that they call the handhelds. Everything from a buffalo chicken sandwich to a turkey club, a Maui chicken sandwich, steak taco, cheeseburgers, buffalo chicken. So some good choices there.
A lot going on there.
A lot going on. And then they lastly get into the section that they call entrees. So, and they're, in my mind, they're not cheap, but there's a lot of inexpensive choices. Some of those handhelds are going to be in the $19 to $22 range. Their entrees are everything from fish and chips for $26, as well as the chicken fried rice, a sweet and spicy chicken bowl, a tuna poke bowl, and then, of course, it wouldn't be a good meal without a dessert.
Uh-huh.
And located where they are, they make friends with the people down at Ghirardelli.
Sure they do.
So you can have your brownie a la mode, a root beer float, or a cookies and cream sundae.
Nice.
And then, again, what I find really reasonable is their kids menu. 6 choices from burgers, hot dogs, chicken tenders, mac and cheese, grilled cheese, cheese pizza for $10.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
So not a bad deal at all. If you're competitive like me, maybe a loser has to pay. Hope it's not one of the kids.
Yeah, there you go. But I do think, we talk a tremendous amount on this show about all the things that there are to do in both Disneyland and Disney World. Like, this is the type of thing for when folks are looking for a day that maybe isn't in the park and they know they want to do something that's still something they wouldn't do at home. This is not just your traditional bowling experience. So it could be something that you want to get on your calendar for your vacation.
It can be a lot of fun, and I will say the thing that is similar to at home, if you're bowling with young children, they do offer the option of bumpers.
Nice. Well,
or maybe you're
that's
like
for
me and you just want the bumpers anyhow.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's just for varied skill level. My score is so
much better with the bumpers.
If you could just keep those up, you'd be in great shape. Anything you want to say before we say goodnight tonight?
As I said to you, we see a lot in the way of entertainment at Disney Springs. It's a great opportunity. I wouldn't go deciding that you have to bowl on your very first trip to Disney, like many of the things in Disney Springs.
Right, of course.
But maybe it's your second trip or your third or your fourth trip, or maybe you're arriving at 1 p.m. and you really don't want to do that park day in case the plane is late. This is a good option with a reservation for 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. So again, it's all about how your timeline works out, but it definitely brings the family together. It's something everybody can do. And with that reservation, you're not going to have a long line. It's like your ultimate multi-pass experience there.
Well, and I love that it gets you into Disney Springs too. So if it's a night that you're planning to spend in Disney Springs or on the West Coast, if you're going to hang out in downtown, it's a nice little thing to tie it all together.
You bet.
Well, Sandy, thank you for taking time this week, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.
And that's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Diz. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share, have them like, and subscribe. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Diz by Anderson and Parsons Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week, and as always, keep making memories.